Hey man, good evening. It's late of the eighth, really going into the ninth. I apologize. This was supposed to be up earlier, but March Madness is here, and I have been fixated on the TV. I will have to say I just watched the NC State Virginia Tech game, and I was watching Oklahoma State and Oklahoma game, Bedlam in basketball. State dominated. They won 97-77, and then OK State won by like 10, I believe. Kind of solidifying them in the NCAA tournament. But man, oh man, this NC State guard duo, Jaquavion Smith, Jarkel Joyner, they have been fantastic. Tonight was one of the best guard performances that I have seen on the college basketball level. That duo is legit. Move this. They are about legit as it gets. Move my covers out there. I mean, fantastic performance. I think they combined for over 50 points, 15 rebounds, like 13 assists, one turnover between that backcourt. They look like a scary team in March, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. We'll talk about March Madness and everything that comes with it in a bit. This won't be a long episode. As you guys can see, it's just me, man. I visited Ian and Lansing, East Lansing last weekend for their senior day. They got the win over Ohio State, 84-77. And it was just a beautiful, you know, just a beautiful thing to see. Ian Jones is, as you guys know from a couple episodes on the pod, he's one of my best friends. Fantastic guy. This guy's from Littleton, North Carolina, small town like in North Carolina State where we're from. And he really is at Michigan State, graduate assistant under Tom Izzo. Top five coaches of college basketball all time, top 10, however you want to slice it, he's up there. And he's been learning under him for 2 years. Head GA this year, doing his thing. Team is firmly in the NCAA tournament. I think 3 or 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament, 4 seed, I believe. Like lined up to potentially, make a run in March. It's just a blessing. Like where we came from as, he was a manager at ECU. Um, and it's just it was a beautiful thing to see his family, to see Vanna, see his mother, see his father, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. How people who have let me spend the night at their house, welcome me in, always treating me like another son. That's like my brother. Ian, like you guys see, like I say, is my best friend, but it's like a brother I never had. I love my sister Jordan. Me and her are extremely close. I'll make sure to get her on an episode of the pod. But man, Ian is just really that's really like my brother, man. And I'm very proud of him. And people give me a hard time because, if you go to my Instagram, you see obviously I'm a huge Ohio State fan. I've been an Ohio State Buckeye fan since, Troy Smith, with the fist in the air. I've been pulling for them. That's been one of my teams. Obviously, representation matters in life. And I always loved Ohio State because when I turned on the TV, I saw a quarterback that looked like me and it showed me, okay, I can do that. So I've always respected them as a program. My father played at NC State, so that was really my main team. Y'all know I bleed purple and gold now. But people give me a hard time because I go to Michigan State. Ian Slick got me some nice Spartan gear, man, and I really represented them. Like I joke and I say when basketball season when it turns the winter, I'm a Spartan. As long as Ian's there, next year, I'll still support those guys. But I'm really there because that's my brother, and I met some fantastic people there. From their managers, some fantastic guys that they have on the manager side. Some of their other GAs, Ian's boy, his guy Mike, Manny is fantastic. He's a future star in coaching. From Western Michigan right now. Um, but one thing I'll just say to be in a program like that, like just to hear from what I've heard from Ian, like it's truly a brotherhood. And I love just, watching them. I'll always support them wherever they go. Just the guys that I've met since I've been there, whether they're coaches, players, managers, because I really appreciate it. They've never really, this weekend, those guys were really great to me, from all the way top to bottom. Everyone was fantastic. Um, Jaden Akins, fantastic player, fantastic person. Um, Joey Hauser, like Joey Hauser, just because I'm cool with Ian, like he showed love to me. Same with Pierre Brooks. Same with AJ, um, Tyson Walker, you know Nick Sanders, like just all those guys, every single last one of them. Shout out Brez. Shout out all my guys, all the managers that show love on the IG. These guys hold it down. Shout out Big Pav on your senior day, Pav, Brez, all the guys. C Ian's roommate. Shout out to them. I really appreciate them because they really they dap me up and they show me love just like I was Ian, and they don't even really know me like that. So I truly appreciate that. And they'll always have my full support. Coop, I mean, all the guys, the entire roster. I can go down the entire roster, and then I just, the love that they've shown to me has been, super appreciated, and I always support them guys, and my heart gets ties up with them, and I'm truly a fan of them as a program. I really appreciate them, and they have been fantastic, and I'll always be rooting for them. And you may ask, well, why is he saying that? Why did he go on this long tangent on Michigan State? Is just like I feel like me and Ian, we plan to actually, I took my laptop up there. We plan to do a pod for y'all, straight up, drop the laptop. But at the end of the day, like the last Instagram post we had before this was for the tragic shooting that killed some people, left some people hospitalized, paralyzed, still fighting for their lives. And honestly, I like life. I'm kind of going through a transition period myself. Looking at different opportunities when it comes to everything in life, and I haven't really you know, been in the mood to podcast, if you're being honest. Like I haven't podcasted since the Super Bowl, and it was a fantastic Super Bowl. If you follow me on my socials, I was all into that. A lot of things have been going on. And we still been putting content out there on the page, but and I apologize because, you know, the tragic shooting and everything going on, guys being super busy. They're on their March run. So right now I understand they're totally locked in. A lot of this stuff, is real life stuff that they have going on. We all have going on. And I just needed to, the podcast that was like not really on the front of my mind. But we back here now. We move is, one thing is like we've been through a lot, and sometimes you get knocked down. Sometimes you don't feel in the mood to do certain things. Um, you get discouraged, you get frustrated. But at the end of the day, you lean on that faith, you lean on your foundation, whatever it may be, and you move. And that's what this podcast is about. We move, and my thoughts and prayers are out with everyone at Michigan State, um, everyone I met there from the top down, support staff, um, different people around campus. They have all been really fantastic to me. And I'm really, like I said, it had been the mood of podcast. You take your time to kind of grieve. You can take your kind of move on in life and kind of, adapt your approach. But at the end of the day, like this is what this podcast is about. We move, we go through trials, we go through different, situations in life, ups and downs are all a part of life, and we learn from them. We move, we, do it for those who, aren't with us, can't be with us, and wish they had the opportunity. So, just hearing people say that, hey, we, when's the next pod dropping? Hearing people like, JA's like hashtag we move, hearing something like that from a player like that, they tapped in some sort of fashion or some way, whatever you want to say. And I really appreciate that. And with that being said, let's do what, I do, let's do what we do. I love sports. I love to talk sports. Um, and it was thoughts like, man, should I even continue to do the podcast? But no, we're gonna do it. Like we do it because it's fun. It's what we love to do. My guys aren't here with me, but I love, talking sports. I love getting my thoughts out there, whether they're right or wrong. I'm not perfect, I get stuff wrong all the time. But I really you know, am I just needed, some time, just like everybody. I'm human. So With that being said, let's move into these topics. I haven't talked to y'all since the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. I think everybody on the pod ended up taking the Chiefs, man. I feel like the Eagles were a fantastic team, but at the end of the day, man, Patrick Mahomes just he's one of one, man. He's a special talent. Two Super Bowls within his first 5 years, been there three times. Um, just elite competitor. And everybody's talking about the big holding call. That was called in the game. On Bradbury on Juju. And for me, it was a hold. They missed one on that 3rd and 9 where Juju, it was same two, Juju and Bradbury. They missed one, and they got it right. No matter what time it is in the game, um, you know, you call that penalty. It was a hold, and he said it was a hold. He owned it. I didn't really like or appreciate Juju's, shot at Bradbury because he owned it like a man. And um, I thought the Eagles played fantastic. I thought Jalen Hurts was fantastic. He made the blunder on the fumble, but that stuff happens. In those games like that, it comes down to it. When I was talking about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' failures, and I said the turnovers, those little things, they matter and they add up in the big games. And you see it happen in the Super Bowl. Those were two very, very quality opponents. They really showed up. Big day from Kenneth Gainwell, big day from Isaiah Pacheco, on the Chiefs. They really showed up. Kelsey did what Kelsey does. The Chiefs' offensive line was fantastic. Those games were won in the trenches. So it's really good to see that. And I was really, I enjoyed it. It was a great Super Bowl. The Chiefs are, you know, they're really, they're really, really good. So I see they're losing Frank Clark. He's going to be a free agent. He's going to want a lot of money. So somebody's going to pay him a lot of money. Two-time Super Bowl champ. I think tied for, right there up there for all-time playoff sacks um, record. So I'm really looking forward to see what goes on, and it's really exciting times. The NFL is greater than ever. We'll get to talk a little bit more here soon about kind of what's going on. This offseason has kind of been crazy. Lamar Jackson just got he hasn't been able to come over onto a deal with the Ravens, and it's one of those things that's been weighing on my mind. Because like you hear a lot of things, right? Obviously social media, it's a lot of outrage, right? And the guy was MVP, 26 years old. And he's trying to get, he wants to get paid. He deserves the bag. He wants guaranteed money. And kind of after the Deshaun Watson and the Russell Wilson, fully guaranteed. I at first I was outraged, like, it's collusion going on. And I'm not really, I'm 50-50, man. I don't know because at the end of the day, it's a lot of teams that can use a quarterback. A lot of teams. How are you not lining up? And teams are like, well, we're not going to do the work. I saw Adam Schefter say, because at first I was like, it's collusion, it's something going on, racism, something's going on. That's what I was thinking. Like, hey, something isn't right. But hearing this, hearing people say, NFL people who have been around the league, Adam Schefter, guys who played in the league, Bernard Pollard, he was vocal about it. It's just saying, two things like, Lamar not having an agent, his mother's his agent. So, it's different because, you go into these contract negotiations and like at my job, you hear about, the good things. You're doing a good thing, you're doing this and that. But also, behind the closed doors, when you're trying to negotiate or you're trying to move up or move wherever, it's like, well, you don't do this, all your flaws are out. And when your mother's your agent, that's your mother, you came out her womb, you're a part of her. And I think things get a little emotional, when you go into contracts because they're going to tell you everything you aren't and why they don't want to pay you all this money and all this stuff. So stuff gets real personal. And Lamar, I can understandably, the past couple of years too, he's like, well, they haven't paid me. He's gotten a couple of injuries. Only he knows, like, to the extent he was hurt. But, he hadn't finished those seasons. That's probably caused some decision with the organization. Well, you get banged up, and he's like, well, y'all haven't paid me, why am I going to risk on, an injury that could be super bad or is super bad because I'm not financially secure. I think he deserves his money. I think a lot of teams should be lining up to come get him. It's a lot of teams saying, Falcons, a lot of teams saying, hey, we aren't going to go get, LJ because whatever, different reasons we aren't in those sweepstakes. And I think those teams are crazy. I think they should really go after him for sure. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see kind of what happens with that. NFL is a weird place, a strange ran league. But I mean, we'll see what goes on. I think Lamar deserves money. I mean, he's been carrying that franchise. You see what that they almost beat the Bengals this year without him. No disrespect to Tyler Huntley, but I think they only had like what 12 points in that game, or they didn't score that many points. They lost, and if you have Lamar, they beat the Bengals. The one time they had Lamar, I think Lamar's winning percentage is top 5 in the NFL since he's come in the league. Only lost like 16 games, like 45 and 16 or something like that. I think a lot of teams should line up for that, and it's worth the 2 first round picks, in my opinion. I joked and put on the pod page, like I tagged the Cowboys and I I tagged the Cowboys and I tagged the who was it? Oh, I talked to pod page, but I was just like, "Hey, go get Lamar, pay him." I would take Lamar for Dak right now, and I know I'm hard on Dak, but like I don't think there's you can ask any of my friends. I'm a humongous Dak Prescott fan, but at the end of the day, we have to learn from our mistakes and we have to grow. If it was any quarterback that makes routine mistakes over and over again, then you haven't reached that elite level. But this isn't about Dak. This is about Lamar. I would say, I know it's no chance of this happening, but he can come to the Cowboys right now. He can come there. He can come immediately and be with Dallas. But um, I'm really, I'm hoping, he gets what he deserves. He deserves to get paid, and I hope, a situation where whether it's the Ravens or another team, go get him, man, because that's a special talent, and you can't just let him sit out there. So um, I like as someone said, like I don't think Burrow, or Allen or any of these quarterbacks were, franchise, whatever the term is for when he's franchised and still can negotiate with other teams. I think a lot of teams will line up and pay those first rounders for a guy like Lamar. So go get him. Like my boy AJ says, go get him, man. Go get him. And he'll get it done too. So a lot of stuff is going on free agency. Pending. I talked about Frank Clark being cut. A couple more guys, big name guys, will be hitting the market. This free agency will be interesting. I will say the Cowboys a franchise tag Tony Pollard. He'll be getting 10 million this year, so 26, 25 million. I think Zeke's getting 15 a year to the Cowboys backfield, which is interesting. I think a conversation. I love Ezekiel Elliott, Buckeye. Really, gave his heart, everything for the Cowboys, died for the Cows. But I think a conversation needs to be had with him. Is like, hey, man, um, you know, um, we gotta get something. We gotta get something to shake here. Either you gotta take a pay cut or you can't wear a star anymore. And I love Zeke, but his production hasn't been there. 25 million is a ton for a backfield, especially hopefully Pollard. He's coming off an injury, but I believe in Tony Pollard. He hasn't given me any reason not to. I think there was some ligament damage, but not terribly. It wasn't ACL, MCL. Hopefully he gets his explosiveness. I mean, I was for paying him. Hopefully they can work a long term deal out with him because not too long term, not too much like Zeke. Because I was all for paying Zeke, and then he kind of slid down a cliff where there's been injuries, whether it's been him not taking his training as seriously and his fitness. But um, I love Zeke, but we got to make some shake, man. We got to make some shake because I love to see the Cowboys add O lineman. Make sure our O line is solid, a defensive tackle, make sure we're solid. I would love Odell Beckham. I love DeAndre Hopkins. That may be out of the picture, but those guys are really, 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 integral pieces to the to the cog. And I would the trenches. You got to win with the trenches. You see the team. The Chiefs play fantastic in the trenches. The Eagles D line, O line was amazing all year. Those are the last two teams, um, that were standing. And I would love to see the Cowboys make some improvements up front. I would love those stars on the outside, but honestly, I would just love to see everybody kind of improve in the offseason. Like I said, I'm not. My expectations are, make the playoffs, whether it's win the division, the Eagles aren't going anywhere. The Giants just re-signed Jones working on they tag Saquon. It'll be interesting to see kind of where they go in the next direction. And in the future, if they trend upwards or, if they stay the same, we'll kind of see there. Sam Howell gonna be the starter in Washington. I'm kind of interested to see what he's gonna do. Eric Bieniemy kind of made the lateral move. It's kind of unfortunate too. I'll talk on that just a little bit. That Bieniemy kind of had to make that lateral move from Chiefs to Washington. I feel like he could have been a head coach. I don't obviously don't know the man. I know there's some stuff, about his past from years ago. Life in America, you kind of understand that, but we grow as men, as you guys can see. Like see a guy like Chris Beard, the allegations that he had, and now he's the front runner for the Ole Miss coaching job. Little things just in America, people are about second chances, as they should be. Um, Forgiveness is real, and people change. So you want to see, everybody loves a good comeback story. I'm wearing the Tiger Woods hat, so he made mistakes as a man, but every usually this country loves a good comeback story. So I'm hoping to see him get a shot one day. I feel like he deserves it, but it's kind of tough to see that move. But like I said, the NFL it's a different type of business, so you understand why a guy like that, hasn't unfortunately gotten the opportunity that he has, um, to feel like most people feel like he deserves. But maybe he'll get in Washington. Hopefully not at the expense of the Cowboys, but I'm sure he'll do great things there. The division looks really good. Obviously, you still got um, some behemoths in Philly. You got to get through them. They aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You got New York's going to be solid, and then Washington, and so hopefully the Cowboys can improve and make their changes. We shall see. I'm hearing a Prescott extension, and I'm hard on Dak, but he has been a very good quarterback. He has a good record versus the NFC East. Hopefully that can continue as the division continues to get better. Um, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the future here. We're going to talk a little bit of combine. I'm not the biggest combine guy. It's fun to see how fast those guys run. Shout out to Keaton Mitchell. He had a good, performance there. He's speedster. He's a really good football player from East Carolina. I'm really excited to see what he does on the next level. I'm seeing him like third or fourth round grade. So I think he can get in there. I mean, he's like a Tony Pollard, man. He can do everything. He can catch, he can run. So I'm excited. I think any team that gets him, I saw a mock that had him going to the Cowboys. I'd be ecstatic for that. But I'm excited to see what Keaton Mitchell does out of ECU. There are other guys who have good shots, from East Carolina. We'll talk about the big names too. Um, Everything, I know everyone saw. I've almost said Jordan Davis, but it wasn't Jordan. The Jalen Carter stuff, um, the Georgia Stafford, Chandler LaCroix, and Devin Willock, the offensive lineman. Um, just everything that kind of happened with that at the combine. Arrest warrant came out, said that he was there the night that they crashed. The Devin Willock and Chandler crashed at Georgia. Georgia recruiting staff for the young lady that passed away and the football player, offensive lineman that passed away. He was there that night. I guess he had. They said he was recklessly driving, like they were speed racing. Um, Her alcohol limit was, excuse me, double the legal limit, and she crashed into a pole and ran off the road. And they said the rumor is that allegedly he was racing with them. He says that he's going to put everything out there, and he's fully cooperated, turned himself in, made bail, went back to the combine. Potential number one pick. Everybody's talking about the Bears taking him number one, but um, I don't know what happened, and I'm not here to, judge people. Um, Things happen. It's horribly unfortunate that those two young people lost their lives. I know, I think two more were injured. Um, but you hear us say like myself, Ian, Jaden, all the guys, we just like stay down and stay solid. And a situation like that is super, super important for everyone to just please like be responsible. You know, you're adults. If you're the legal age. I know people younger sometimes they drink. You know, legally you shouldn't, but I'm not here to judge or cast light or anything like that or cast judgment. I'm not here to throw stones, but when you do these things, Uber, man, just be responsible. Nobody's ever won. You a lottery. Nobody's ever won. There's nothing you can get out of racing. And I know that little moment where it's like, oh, I'm about to push the limit or whatever. And people would be lying if they said they haven't gone over the speed limit. But at the end of the day, you have to just be cautious. Be cautious because one wrong move and it could be your life, it could be someone else's life, it could be a life altering moment. And this young man is terrific talent. From what all I heard, I was a walk on. I heard he had something set up where he was, you know, paying for the walk-ons meals and making sure they were taken care of, and I really appreciate that, and I hope this isn't the decision that you know um ruin like not ruins his life because you have to deal with your consequences, um and you have to deal with everything that's happened. So hopefully I'll let the due process get played out, but hopefully the young man can move forward and as best he can, and rest in peace to those. But I just want to say, like, let it be something that we can learn from. We all make mistakes, but some mistakes are really, really crucial, and we have to be have real consequences. And I would just tell everyone, be mindful. Whether when you're drinking, um, just be mindful. Every decision you make has like repercussions. And um, that's really all I have to say about that. We'll see what goes forward with Carter. I'm sure as long as he's cleared, he'll still you know um, be in the NFL, get a shot at his opportunity, but just let it be a lesson to him and to all of us. That all of our actions have consequences, and we must move accordingly. We must move the right way, and rest in peace to Devin and Chandler and everyone affected by that. Much pressure to them, and I hope they can move forward as best they can, and some good comes from this. So I'll get back on the combine though. The Ohio State guys. Everybody's talking Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. Quarterback wise, I personally don't think you can go wrong either way. Um, I think Bryce Young is a terrific talent. I think he checks the boxes for all of them except for his size. But you've seen guys like Russell Wilson, CC win a Super Bowl, almost win another. Kyler Murray's had success in the NFL. Say what you want about his attitude, say what you want about him. Kyler's been a really good quarterback. I don't understand. I know, well, I understand. After that, kind of the clause came in that he wasn't studying as much or putting as much film work. I understand kind of how that situation went sour with him and Cliff. But I mean, he's shown terrific, strides. Hopefully, he can bounce back from this ACL. But undersized quarterbacks can get it done. And a guy like Bryce Young's been small, like he said, his whole life. And he's been able to, competed at SEC, he competed for national championships at Bama at the highest level. He won a Heisman. So I like him. Stroud, I think is legit. Obviously at Ohio State, he has his flaws though. I do think CJ Stroud, he hears a lot of the noise. So for him, going to the right situation is big. I want him to go to a team like the Colts or the Saints before they got Carr. But a situation, even the Jets, a situation where he can come in and be a part of a team that has a solid foundation. And they're trying to win right away. Because at Ohio State, he did get frustrated sometimes. He hears all the fans, coming at him, chirping at him, different stuff like that. So I think that's one thing for him that I think he needs to is that mental aspect of the game. Don't let it get to you. Don't hear that noise. And sometimes he hears a noise like the Georgia game, and it motivates him to ball out like he did. And I think he can make every throw on the field. I think him and Bryce are just, they're almost the same players. Just one is taller, and I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think Bryce probably will be taken first. I could see that. I don't know exactly to which team, just because the Bears are number one. I think they would be insane to leave Justin Fields. He had a good year last year. I think they have a lot of other pieces that they can do to get their team better to help Fields out. We'll talk about one of them potentially here soon, but I think Fields could really do something special. Um, and he could be something. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what's going on and what happens when it comes to that. But I'm really excited to see what comes out of those two quarterbacks. Just some other guys that I saw. Devin Akane, he was a burner from Texas A&M, good running back. Bijan Robinson ran well. A lot of those guys, in the running backs, every year running backs, receivers, all those guys look good. We'll talk about the receivers a bit. I like, whether it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he's wide receiver one. Him, Jordan Addison. I like him and Jordan Addison over Quentin Johnson. I think they can just do a little bit of everything. Jackson said they say he's a slot receiver. They say Addison can be potentially be a slot, but I think those guys have proven that they can be, number one receivers or really, really good receivers in college. If you look at their film, I know Addison was banged up at USC this year. But at Pitt, I mean, I like to say there was no Kitty Pickett, without Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, if you look up his film, he's fantastic. He can run good routes. He's undersized, but at the end of the day, like undersized receivers, you see them, flourish at any level as long as you're smart. And I think he has a high IQ because he went over to USC. He was banged up this year. He still had a solid year. He catches touchdowns. He has a good IQ. He moves well. He's just not the biggest. And I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is just phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that from a Ohio State perspective. I just don't think there's, um, you know, a question of what he can't do. He might not be the fastest in the world, but he's a very, very smart player. He runs good routes. Just look up his Rose Bowl performance. Last year, he has the most yards in Ohio State history at a receiver position. And this year he got banged up in that Notre Dame game. Only he knows, the extent of his injury. Hamstring injuries are really tricky. I had a friend, my friend Quavis was out for months in middle school with a hamstring injury. They're nothing to play with, and you don't realize how much you move your hamstring. You use your hamstring for everything until you get an injury and you aren't able to use it, or you aren't able to go, or you aren't able to do anything. They can really limit you. So I think I think, I give him the grace, and I think he really tried. He seems to have loved Ohio State, and I spoke to him. I met him actually, in Columbus, and he seemed to be a fantastic kid. Um, I don't know how high he'll go. It sounding like all these receivers are going in the 20s. I mean, I would love to see him on the team like the Cowboys. I'm hearing, maybe Eagles, maybe Giants. But I think wherever he goes, he can kind of fit somewhere and kind of do some special things, do some good things. I like him as a player, and he seems to have his heart on straight. So I would love to see him in the Cowboys. I'd love to see him or Addison with the Cowboys. But tight end, Darnell Washington had a good combine. Michael Mayer, the kid Dalton Kincaid from Utah, he's really good. So there's a lot of guys everywhere. A lot of positions. O linemen look good. There are guys everywhere. Will Anderson is Will Anderson. He'll be a top pick. The DN out of Alabama. That's no surprise to anyone. There's some good safeties, good corners in this draft. So the draft will be interesting. It's a lot of good players to be had. It's just about picking the right one, as always. So I'm not a huge draft analyst, but that's kind of what I've seen from the combine. I think Quentin Johnson from TCU, I like him, but he doesn't remind me of like a Kelvin Benjamin. I know he's fast, I know he's tall, but like I don't know, man. I've watched him play, and I think he's very good. But the NFL, I say that as like Mike Evans is a certified Hall of Famer, but guys who are tall like that run, you just have to have a little bit more to your bag, just a little bit more. And I don't know, when I watch him, I just feel like something is missing. He could be fantastic. I don't know. We shall see. Um, but I think Addison and Smith, or I think Smith and Jigba is number one. I think Addison's two, and I'm more of a Quentin Johnson third guy. I just have to see more from him. I know he had a good year this year, but the NFL is a little bit different. Those DBs are a little bit more physical. We kind of saw the Georgia game. I don't want to put it all on him, but he didn't do much in the Georgia game. And that's like an NFL type defense, and I think those other two receivers I've seen, really have monster, really, really like, whoa, that's something different. So I'm interested to kind of see how those two play out. It'll be interesting to see. So um that being said, let's move on to mm, one more thing too on the combine. I could be totally wrong about these young men, but I'm not seeing the Levis and Anthony Richardson hype. I understand Anthony Richardson, fantastic athlete, but like just at Florida, like I think both of them lost to Vandy this year. Will Levis threw for like 109 yards. Not really seeing it, man. I don't understand. I understand they're physical freaks and stuff like that. But I mean, a guy like Will Greer, who was a quarterback at West Virginia, went in like the third or fourth round, and I thought he had both of their careers combined. I know they went to smaller schools, but Will went to West Virginia, and I know West Virginia's had great quarterbacks. Shout out Pat White, shout out Geno Smith. But like, you know, if he's going in the third round, I don't understand how guys like Levis is pretty old too. Like, I understand people want to find the next Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and that's Cam Newton. That's kind of the mold those two come from. But I'm just not. I think any team that wastes the first round pick on them, it might be a big mistake. I could be wrong. I mean, I see the athleticism. I see it 100%. But I just I'm not sold. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't understand necessarily the hype on them, but you know how the combine gets. You know how the NFL is. They draft on potential. That's kind of how all leagues are. So we'll kind of see. I see the talent in them, and I wish them well. I would never wish bad on them, but I'm just not seeing it when it comes to Levis and Richardson. The game film has too many holes there, and the NFL is a different level. So we're struggling as much as they were with college competition in schools like Vanderbilt or schools like Missouri, different schools like that that aren't the, you know, best football wise. I don't know how quite know how they're going to do it in the NFL, but the talent is definitely there. If they get in the right system, NFL is all about system, and some guys are better pros than they are in college. So we shall see. I'm not writing them off. I'm just not seeing it at the moment. Um, to kind of move on the basketball front, we're gonna talk Brandon Miller a little bit. Um, you know, situation with Darius Miles, Alabama player who is charged with capital murder. He had a friend. I don't know the young man's name from DC down. They you guys know the story probably by now. They got in an argument. Well, I guess one of them tried to talk to this guy's girl. He kind of said some words to him, and things got heated. Brandon Miller, I guess, Darius Miles' friend or Darius Miles' gun was in the back of Brandon Miller's car. He wasn't at the club. He came and brought him, the guy texted him, hey, like bring me, your gun. Somebody's out here kind of like, he said acting like, like fronting, like, I guess, things could have got bad. Brandon Miller brought the hit Darius Miles' gun. Miles gets it out of the front of the car, or the back of the car. And then he gives it to his friend. They end up killing a young mother. And first of all, my condolences are to her. And second of all, I would just say to everyone here, Nate Olson is getting a lot of flack. Brandon Miller hasn't stopped playing, and he won Freshman of the Year. He had like a 40-point game after that. He's been balling. Alabama's, one of the top teams in the country. Miles and his partner are on trial, and they'll be judged accordingly. But I just it sucks because this is kind of another life lesson. This isn't supposed to be a life lesson pod, but just the association that you have is crucial, and just it's a sad situation because even being in that spot, to anybody listening to this, don't ever put your teammate in don't ever put anyone you love in a spot like that. I understand things get heated. I understand self defense and stuff like that, but also I feel like a lot of these different situations can all be diffused. I like to take everyone. I like to challenge everyone, including myself. Let's take these approaches when it comes to whether it's talking to women. Okay, she has a man. Okay, cool. Like and I know not everybody, rejection and different things like that. It happens to all of us, But at the end of the day, like let's de-escalate these things. Brandon Miller, in that position, it's hard to say. That wasn't his gun. It wasn't his property. It was left in his car. He came and got it. Thinks his teammates in trouble. somebody gets shot, somebody gets killed, you know, the facts will all come out. Um, but we move pod. One of the things about we move is moving correctly. The association that you have, just being around different people, trying to stay out of situations like that as best you can. I understand life happens, but at the end of the day, man, just be really mindful. That's only my message: is be mindful and be careful of your surroundings, who you're around, what they're gonna do. Because you just want to stay yourself away from you know situations like this at all. When it comes to guns and stuff, you know stuff can get tricky. Guns in the wrong hands with the wrong person. You know, things go left when it could have went right. Or right when it could have went left. And then it's a whole situation, a whole ordeal. So to him, I enjoy watching him play basketball. I hope this situation. I pray for that woman's family. It's horrible, horrible event that happened. Rest in peace to her. And I hope everyone, justice will be served. However, whether it's on, the judges or whether it's in the next life or, the truth will come to light and everyone will be judged accordingly. Just hope everyone can, move forward and learn from this. That's why I say you learn from these situations, and how we can all be better, including himself. Fantastic basketball player. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm excited to watch him in the SEC tournament. I'm excited to watch the team, to Brandon Miller. Um, you know, and to everyone else, a lot of prayers and thoughts are with them, and hopefully um we learn from this. You know. That's what thing I would just say is the young kids watching, learn from this. Um, be better, in the best way you can. And that also brought me into the next conversation. I'm not going to talk long on this, and it's John Morant. He's had a couple situations with guns and beat up somebody. There was a rumors that he beat up somebody at a pickup game. A kid like flashed pointed a gun at him. He was flat. He got into an argument with a Foot Locker Finish Line employee. Back home in South Carolina. Um, well, his mother did, and he came and was like, okay, we'll find out what time he gets off. There was a report that one of his, you know, somebody in his circle flashed a laser at Indiana Pacers staffers. Little things like that, man. Like you just have to be smart. John has to be much smarter, and whether it's the people he's around, whether it's himself, just take a deep look, man. He was about to be he's primed to be the face of Nike. Shoe about to drop. Nike reps wearing his gear, nice logo, and man, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And whenever you get opportunities that can change your life in whatever facet, I tell anybody this: like make the most of it. You only have a certain small window. Make the most money you can, enjoy it, have the most success you can, chase the most success you can. Because in the blink of an eye, it could be gone like that. Say one of those situations goes left, John Morant can lose everything. So it's just crucial, crucial. And I'm not going to preach on this. I'm not going to harp on it any more than I already have. Just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of who you're around. And if someone isn't trying to help you get to where you need to go, then they can't be around you. Simple. And we also have to self-evaluate. I have to self-evaluate. You have to self-evaluate. Everyone has to self-evaluate. And we have to be as best we can, and learn and grow and get better. Whether he's from, I don't know his background, whether he's from that, whether he's not from that, we either, if he's from that, then you have to distance yourself from certain things. If he isn't like that, then it's no reason to act like something you're not. Be yourself. We move, man. Be yourself and continue to move forward and always learn and grow. Always learn and grow. Learn and grow. Adapt and adjust to your environment and succeed as best you can in it. So that's kind of what all I have to say about that. March Madness is here. It's been crazy. Um, Conference tournament's been kicking off. Asheville, North Carolina team, they beat Campbell. My God, IJ's. Um, you know, home county school. They beat them. That was tough. But it's a lot of tournaments going, man. It's a lot of tournaments going. It's exciting times, going on everywhere. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I'm gonna run through my picks, and I'll kind of give y'all, the rundown, the shakedown on what I think is gonna happen in these tournaments, and we'll kind of go from there, man. The AAC, my Pirates, we're fighting hard. I think we're gonna get a win tomorrow against South Florida. Then we run into Houston. That's going to be a tough one. Houston's #1 team in the country. I would love to see the upset. I don't see it. Don't see it happening. I think the American Conference Final would be, Houston Memphis. A rematch, a good game. I think it could go either way. But I think I'm gonna roll with you know the Cougars in their home state. I think they're gonna get it done. I think they're the best team. I think they're honestly arguably the best team in the country right now. Um, we'll talk Final Four and stuff once the brackets come out and everything. I'll kind of give you all a rundown of what I picked, but I think Houston will get it done in American. I think they'll prevail over Memphis, and then in the ACC, I think the championship game will end up being a Duke Virginia rematch. I think that'll be a rematch, and I think my brother JG will bring it home. I think he's gonna bring home the outright championship this time. And I'm excited to see that. So I think that'll be the championship, and I think that's what's gonna be the final outcome. Um, Out in the ACC, well, I just did that one. My fault, y'all. It's late, as you can tell. But I will say those state guards look really good, man. They look really good. So, I could see State making a run in this ACC tournament. But I think Virginia's gonna put some stifling D. They're gonna get it to forward March, and I think they're gonna get it done. In the Pac-12, I think Arizona's gonna go all the way. I think they're gonna take that, especially Jalen Carter from UCLA getting injured. I think that'll affect them a little bit, especially guard those guys Arizona has on the wing and down in the post. I think the Wildcats will bring it home in the Pac-12 in the conference tournament. In the Big East, I like UConn. I got T. I think he's gonna get it done. I think he's gonna touch Buddy. Um, and then the Big Ten, I like Michigan State, man. I think their guards are playing really well. This is like honestly more of a biased pick, but I think Purdue will fall to Michigan. I think Hunter Dickinson and them they're desperate for a win. I think they'll beat Rutgers today or tomorrow, however you want to put it. And I think after that, it'll be a Michigan State Michigan semifinal. I think the Spartans will get it done and they'll come out on top. In the Big 12, it's tough to see a team beating Kansas right now. It really is very tough to see a team beating them. But I think in the Big 12, um, we'll have I see Kansas getting there. But if not though, you regards win in March, so I could see Baylor taking it. But I think Kansas will win the Big 12. They've been tested. That's kind of like their second home too. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of bring it home and handle business. And kind of roll into March. So that'll be interesting. I'm kind of just gonna go the big conferences there. I'm not gonna go too deep in it. I love the March Madness is here. Um, I'm very excited to watch that, and I'm really, really excited. Shout out to, two guys retiring: Jim Boeheim, Mike Brey, Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, Mike Brey at Notre Dame. I think Boeheim, I mean, he's a legend. Shout out to, he gave my guy Elijah Hughes a chance. Carmelo Anthony, he's had a fantastic team. One thing you always say is the 2-3 zone. You always attach it to him. Adrian Autry is going to take over for him after. Excited to see what they do as a program, kind of get Cuse back on the map. I think, Boeheim kind of was getting a little bit up there in the years and the game's changing so much, NIL, all this stuff. Um, it kind of, the game, it's kind of like adapt or die, but he's a forever a legend. Salute to Jim Boeheim. Salute to Mike Brey. Notre Dame being a football school, he's had fantastic teams. I mean, I think they were in the Sweet 16 last year. I mean, it's always had really good teams. They came to the ACC, been a good addition. I'm from ACC country, so we always keep up with that stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens in the Notre Dame future too. Shout out to my guy Trey Wirtz. They fought hard kind of at the end of the season. Wasn't the best end for them, but he did a lot of great things there. So good luck to Jim and Mike on retirement. And we'll kind of we'll kind of see what goes from there, man. March Madness is here, man. March Madness is here. Shout out to my ECU women's team. They're in the championship tomorrow night against Houston. Go get it done, ladies. Go get it done. Miss Coach Kim McNeil, fantastic coach. I remember being down there at ECU. You know, in your first few years, couple years, and you know we were struggling, but you know that team always fought, man. They always had a good team. They played. They knew their identity. They still play to their identity. I think 22, 23 wins this year, 23-9. Very proud of the ladies at ECU. Go get it done. Go finish it. You know, keeping that homegrown talent, freshman of the year, defensive player of the year, coach of the year for the ECU women's. So go get it, ladies. Go get the win. We're supporting you. We're behind you 100%. Let's go, Pirates. Get it done versus Houston women's tomorrow night. Excited to see y'all get it done. Hopefully see y'all in the tournament. First team ECU basketball team, women's or men's, to go to the tournament in probably 20 plus years. So we're very, very proud of y'all ladies. I don't know if any of y'all will see this, but go get it. Go get it. You know, go get it done. Go get it done. And that kind of ties into my word to my brothers, you know, Ian, John, Jaden. They are all chasing, you know, right now you don't see them on the pod, but they're all really, really locked in right now. Ian at the Big Ten tournament, about to make a March Madness run. Jaden at an ACC tournament back home in his home state in Greensboro. Those are things we've always dreamed about. You know, coming up in North Carolina, the ACC tournament is huge. You know, we used to watch it on school and on TV in school. And John, with the AAU season approaching, go get it, brother. Go get it. You know, I'll say one thing to all of y'all. You know, Ian, it's time, brother. You know, you last year you got the amazing experience, Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. Now it's in Chicago, in the house Jordan built. You know, United Center. Shout out to Zach LaVine. We'll talk about Zach LaVine. I put some on the page the other week about Zach LaVine, but Ian, go get it, family. You know, Big Ten championship. I predicted them to win it. I think they can. All the talent is there. And Izzo said at senior day, you know, it's room up there for a banner. Go get it, man. I believe in y'all. I believe in the team. I love how Tyson's playing. I love how AJ's playing. I love how Jay's playing. And guards win in March, man. They really do. And they have 3, 4 really good ones, man. Really, really good ones. I'm excited to see y'all go get it. You know, go get it, man. I believe in y'all. You know, 3 wins away, man. Day by day to see a better day. So go get it, Ian. Jaden, ACC tournament, you back home. You get to, you know, potentially knock the Tar Heels out of the NCAA tournament, brother. Go get it, man. Go get it. I believe in you. You're back home in the home state. I know how you're gonna act in North Carolina. It ain't much to say. Beast mode. Go get that. Go get another ring, brother. You deserve a championship, man. That photo of you on senior day crying. People don't know the half. People don't know the half of what you've been through. So, brother, I believe in you. I love you. Go get it done, man. Go get it done, and I'm really proud of you. John, AUC is here, man. Make an impact on these young kids, the young men, man. It's time. It's time, man. Your impact is you don't even understand the impact you're having on them. So lead those young men. You know, do what you're supposed to do. You know, lead them the right way. You know, you got the right foundation. Lead that impact and win, man. It's all about winning. To the kids, if any of y'all listen to this, man, go win, go play for each other, care about each other. The best teams care about each other. The best teams win, man. And that's how you'll get what you all want. That's how you'll get those championships. That's how you get those offers that you want. So, to all my brothers, I love y'all. Miss y'all on the pod. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. We Move podcast episode 12. 12. So I didn't know if we was gonna get to 3, but we got to 12 episodes. So much love. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Evan Umstead here. Much love to everybody. Everybody be safe. Weather turning warm. People want to be outside. Be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Stay down. Let's enjoy this March Madness. Most wonderful time of the year. And I need to get on my bully. You know what I mean? I need to start dropping this stuff for y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Giving y'all some that content that y'all deserve, man. Because you know, that's what we here to do. We move day to day. We get stuff done day by day to see a better day, man. Much love to everybody. I appreciate everyone, you know, that's shown love that's been here through any drought. If you listen to 1 second, or if you listen to 1 hour or 10 hours, it's much love. It's much appreciated. I'm gonna get out of here though. I gotta work in the morning, get to this money. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Be safe. Good day. Good Friday. Good Thursday. Whatever day you listen to this, and we move. If y'all don't take anything from me, just learn from others. Learn every day. Get better every day. Let's get it, man. We move. Podcast episode 12. Evan Umstead signing off, man. Much love. Thank y'all.